Welcome to the OpFun Web Portal training video on completing Section 3 add-ons, Parts B and C, and certifications for the Form 52723. For information on creating a point of contact and initializing the Form 52723, please reference the related training video and user guide. Let's start our review of Section 3 with reviewing AddOns Information. From the project page, select the Form 52723 Section 3 Add-ons button. This section contains pre-populated data that most PHAs cannot edit. PHAs can only update the yellow highlighted fields. In addition to operating, maintenance, and utility expenses, the OpFun formula allows PHAs to include qualifying add-on expenses to their formula expenses. For a detailed explanation of each data field, please refer to the user guide. Only eligible projects may enter data in the self-sufficiency field. This amount is the cost for the self-sufficiency program coordinators and associated costs. This value is not pre-populated, and your PHA should submit comments and supporting documentation required by HUD. For the Add-on Subsidy AOS Incentive field, enter the Approved Energy Performance Contract EPC AOS Incentive for energy conservation measures. PHA should leave this field blank for projects without an approved AOS. Your PHA should submit supporting documentation required by HUD to claim the AOS incentive. If your PHA submits a value different from the pre-populated value in the Payment in lieu of taxes pilot field, your PHA should submit comments and supporting documentation required by HUD. The OpFun portal pre-populates actual audit costs of the OpFun program for your project in the Cost of Independent Audit field. If your PHA submits a value different from the pre-populated value, your PHA should submit comments and supporting documentation required by HUD. Lastly, if your PHA is eligible to submit Asset Repositioning Fee or ARF data, enter the value here. If your PHA submits a value different from the pre-populated field, your PHA should submit comments and supporting documentation required by HUD. Select the Apply Changes button to save your changes. Once you select the Apply Changes button, the percentage change column will calculate the percentage change of the data that you've entered from the pre-pop data. The OpFun web portal also calculates percentage change of the data that you've entered from the last accepted data. The last accepted data is the HUD accepted data provided in the original submission, and applicable resubmissions, corrections for quality control, and requests for revisions. You can select the View Print Current Form 52723 button to see your changes reflected immediately in the Form 52723. From the project page, select the Form 52723 Section 3 Parts B and C button. This section displays other adjustments to the project's OpFun grant eligibility. Your PHA can make certain eligible updates for PUM formula income, resident paid utility energy performance contract, moving to work, or other HUD-directed changes. The OpFun portal pre-populates this section with the PUM formula income calculated by the FTS data submitted by your PHA. If your PHA submits a value different from the pre-populated value, or if HUD did not provide a pre-populated value, your PHA should submit comments and supporting documentation required by HUD. Next, enter the Resident Paid Utility or RPU Incentive for Energy Performance Contract EPC. Your PHA should leave this field blank for projects without an approved RPU. Please note that the RPU amount should always be a negative number. Your PHA should submit comments and supporting documentation required by HUD to claim the RPU incentive. In the Moving to Work MTW field, if your PHA has an MTW alternative OpFun formula specified in Attachment A of its agreement, it must report the total OpFun eligibility on this line. This field only applies to MTW eligible PHAs. Leave the Other field blank unless specific instructions are provided by HUD. This number can be a negative or positive number. Select the Apply Changes button to save any changes that you make. Once you select the Apply Changes button, the percentage change column will calculate the percentage change of the data that you've entered from the pre-pop data. If applicable, the percentage change of last accepted data column calculates the percentage change of the data that you've entered from the last accepted data. You can select the View Print Current Form 52723 button to see your changes reflected immediately in the Form 52723. If your PHA provides new values or modifies pre-populated data in Section 3, your PHA must provide comments and submit supporting documentation required by HUD. Your PHA should consult your local HUD field office, the latest OpFun processing notice, and the instructions for the forms HUD-52723 and 52722 for further guidance. All PHA updates and requests for modifications are subject to HUD review. From the project page, select the Certifications button. Your PHA must make certain certifications for each project in the OpFun web portal before submitting to HUD. Select the appropriate certifications. Every PHA must select the first and last certifications to submit the forms 52723 and 52722. Your PHA must select the second or third certification to receive the Asset Management Fee add-on, provided your PHA is in compliance with asset management requirements. In the absence of selecting the certification related to the Asset Management Fee, your PHA's Asset Management Fee will not be calculated. These certifications are either enabled or disabled based on your PHA's total ACC units during inventory validation. Select the Apply Changes button to save your updates. You may see an error if the correct certifications are not selected. Resolve the errors and select the Apply Changes button again. You can view all comments related to your Form 52723 by selecting the Submission Comments button. In the same manner, you can view all attachments by selecting the Submission File Attachments button. Please refer to the related training videos and user guide for more information on completing the rest of the forms HUD-52723 and HUD-52722. Thank you for watching this OpFun web portal training video on completing Section 3 add-ons, Parts B and C, and certifications for the Form 52723. For more information on the Forms 52723 and 52722 submission process, please view the related training videos. If you have questions about operating fund grants, calculating or understanding operating fund eligibility, or PIH regulations or notices, please contact your local field office. For questions or comments regarding the OpFun web portal, contact REACT TAC by phone at 1-888-245-4860 and choose option 4, or by email at react_tac@hud.gov.